Welcome, my name is Hector, and I'm going to talk about globalization and the digital era. We're gonna start off with the first question, which is why did globalization emerge? So, first of all, we're going to look at the definition of globalization, which is a process of interaction and integration among people, companies, and governments of different nations. A process driven by international trade and investment and aided by information technology. Globalization is not a new phenomenon. The world economy has become increasingly interdependent for a long time. However, in recent decades, the process of globalization has accelerated. This is due to a variety of factors, but important ones include improved trade, increased labor and capital mobility, and improved technology. A very good example of an event of globalization or that made modern globalization possible is the creation of the internet. Our next question is, in most cases, what caused the terrorist attacks of the 20th century? Terrorism is the use of violent acts to frighten the people in the area as a way of trying to achieve a political goal. The 20th century has been a particularly conflictive period in terms of armed violence. More than 100 significant conflicts occurred in the space between the end of World War II and the end of the century. In an important part of these conflicts, terrorist acts have occurred before, during, and after them. Acts in which there have been indiscriminate civilian and military victims of the areas of the conflict itself or outside it. The current wave of global terrorism that began in the second half of the 20th century is based on economic, social, and political problems. One important terrorist event is President John F. Kennedy's assassination on November 22nd of 1963. Next up, we'll answer this question, which says, how does the end of the Cold War relate with a unipolar world? A unipolar world has one hegemonic or dominating state that holds a significant amount of power economically, militarily, and politically. Unipolarity is used to describe the power structure when one superpower dominates alone. The end of the Cold War meant that the previous decade's superpower rivalry now had ended. There was no longer the traditional East versus West conflict, at least not the way it had been earlier in the 20th century. The United States surfaced as the sole dominating power in world politics, as there were no real challengers to their hegemonic position. The event that marked the beginning of a unipolar world is, as the question says, the end of the Cold War. Lastly, we have this question that says, how has the digital era influenced today's society? The digital era is characterized by technology which increases the speed and breadth of knowledge turnover within the economy and society. Yes, without doubt, the digital world, and in particular the world of social media, has utterly changed the way in which both companies and individual consumers alike do business, as well as the manner in which marketing and advertising are conducted. In fact, the world and its model have become expert at a whole range of marketing techniques, meaning that every business now has the power to generate its own unique online presence or brand at the click of a mouse. The creation of Facebook as one of the first social media for the companies to advertise their products is for sure the event of this last question. Thanks for watching.